All right. See ya.
Where are you going, man? We got a show to do.
Stillwater. We're on the road this week.
Take your backpack off, sit down. We're going to do a show.
Oh.
Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. It is a Magic Mike Monday. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by Ruby the Remote Boy. We also have Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to check out last night's post-game show we did for a back-and-forth competitive
what a game.
Barn burner between Arizona State and Duke in college basketball. But
where were you when ASU lost by 60?
Right here in this very chair.
It was a fun show. I will say. I think we turned that into a pretty fun show.
It was a solid show.
Would be way more fun than today's show.
It was a charity show.
Yeah, today's show's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Because you're so mean to me in the cold open.
I was not mean to you in the cold open,
speaking to me like you're my father.
You're so soft.
I just wanted to go to Stillwater.
Get over it, dude. Come on.
See what I'm talking about?
You take things really personally.
You're like the emotionally unavailable father.
Okay. Sharon in the chat, good news regarding injuries.
You're
yes,
right.
We are going to hear from Kenny Dillingham a little bit later on in the show, what he had to say about Oklahoma State, what he had to say about the health of this team. Also, in terms of some game management stuff as well. We're going to get into Oklahoma State just a little bit. Obviously, we have the entire week to break down the Cowboys offensively, defensively, get into predictions, all that fun stuff as the week transpires. But Erik, I want to start somewhere else. I want to start on 4 teams specifically, not just Arizona State. I want to take a look at the 4 former Pac-12 schools that are now in the Big 12 and how they have adjusted thus far to life in the Big 12. We're talking Arizona State, Colorado, Arizona, and Utah. Each one of those programs to this point has had such a up and down season, I would say, in college football. Some have had phenomenal starts. Others have been absolutely pathetic to this point.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the Sun Devils.
Okay.
I think the Sun Devils, again, this is a team that is just a win away from reaching bowl eligibility. They're 5-2. They've lost to solid teams in Cincinnati and Texas Tech, 2 teams that aren't in the AP top 25. But if you watch Big 12 football, you know what those 2 programs have been thus far this season. I think Cam Skattebo obviously has made a name for himself nationally. Sam Leavitt and Kenny Dillingham continue to be an interesting duo that you expect to see in Tempe for some time. I think that the expectation so far for Arizona State in the grand scheme of the 4 schools that left the Pac-12 to now the Big 12, I would say Arizona State has probably had the second best run out of the 4 schools.
Yeah, and I think if they played this week, you could have a conversation. If they played and they won, that you could have him as the best.
Yeah.
Right? I think Sharon in the chat says it well. Hi, Sharon. Says, let's just say the 2 best former Pac-12 schools are not the 2 that you expected and vice versa. Yeah, if I told you that clearly Arizona State was ahead of not only Arizona, but Utah at this point in the season, I think that respectively those fan bases would call me insane. Yeah. And they did call me insane all summer. But here we are, and ASU is sitting at 5-2, and 5-2 in a way where they easily, like, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased. They easily could have been 7-0. The only reason why they are not 7-0 is they got in their own way on the road against 2 tough teams, and losses are losses, but that's easily fixable. This is a team that is shocking to most people except for the ones who were covering it, and even to us, still a little shocking.
Right now, it's projected between 7-8 wins.
We'll take
so
it.
far this
We'll
season.
take it.
Obviously, Oklahoma State, we'll get into that all week. It's a very winnable game. Arizona State is the betting favorite. Then you have UCF, a team that just fired their defensive coordinator. Their season has really, really gone downhill quickly.
It's a sign that things are going good.
Then you got Kansas State back on the road. That's going to be a tough one. And then BYU at home before you take on the Arizona Wildcats, which leads me to where we go next. Of course, Brent Brennan, Totri McMillan, Noah Fafita, and all of the Kitty fans that are, or were, I would say, over the summer, over the spring, over the fall, whatever, just talking mess that they were going to be this, they were going to be that. And now this is a team that is, I believe, 3-5 on the season. They've lost 4 in a row, maybe 4 in a row, right? And now it is going to be an absolute dogfight to get to a bowl game because you got UCF, which, again, I know UCF is not the greatest team, but you're playing them on the road.
If they lose to UCF.
If they lose to UCF, they're not going bowling.
I mean, we said the same thing about if they lost to West Virginia. It'd be
Well, now it is because you got UCF, you got Houston. Houston just beat Utah. We'll get to Utah a little bit later. Then TCU. TCU on the road is not going to be easy. TCU just beat Tech.
Yep.
And then you have Arizona State, which as it stands right now, Arizona State is going to be the favorite in that game.
The thing about that Arizona State game is it might be what determines if Arizona gets in a bowl or not.
Could be.
There's a very real possibility that that is what's on the line for the Wildcats, and nothing would be sweeter. Nothing would be sweeter.
Sharon, go Houston, go UCF.
Oh, yeah.
Just voting and rooting against Arizona.
Arizona has been nothing short of an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Nothing short of a complete disappointment. And these are not my words. These are the words of Mike Luke. These are the words of Jason Shearer. These are the words of the fans. The words of everybody that you know that's a Wildcats fan. There are 0 people who are impressed or optimistic or positive about Arizona Wildcats football anymore.
You can't be. You can't be optimistic about it anymore.
Because I don't even know if I could spin zone that.
I feel like every time that they try, here we go. Saul in the chat. We've been dog dookie. We were overrated. We're not making a bowl game. We're definitely losing to UCF. Jeez.
Okay, so here's You know,
all downhill there.
I wouldn't say that I feel bad, but it is almost like
I think again,
those poor guys.
They are definitely. I think Arizona fans have realized it, right? They've owned it better than I thought a lot of them would.
The denial wore off real quickly.
Yeah,
real quickly.
I just want to say that we were right about Brent Brennan.
No,
we were spot on. We might have been generous.
Give him time.
We might have been generous.
He's going to get him cooking.
What I will say down the stretch is, you are going to be in every football game when Totri McMillan and Noah Fafita are healthy.
Yeah, they've always had the talent. Even when we were low on them over the offseason, none of us were like, Arizona doesn't have any talent.
No,
that's never. In fact, it actually makes everything like 10 times worse.
They've got a lot. Yeah, no, I mean, Kevin tweeted it, I think, the week before the West Virginia game, saying, would this team be better without coaches? And like, it's
so funny.
It's the truth.
Sorry.
Maybe they would. Again, this is for Arizona, and you're talking about the adjustment of the Big 12, and we are going to move on to Utah here in a second.
Do we have to?
We do, because they've been bad too. But Arizona, what this season is going to do is it is going to set them back years upon years in this conference in terms of recruiting, in terms of what they can do in the transfer portal, because not only is this a university that in the athletic department is struggling for money, trying to find money, literally, now you've got a coach who, in his first year with several first-round picks, the talent is going to be gone. Takario Davis is going to the league. He's a first-round defensive back. Totri McMillan is going to be gone. The greatest player in Arizona Wildcats' likely history is going to be a first-round pick. Noah Fafita, I would not be shocked if he entered the transfer portal. And now all of those 3 great players that you had, they're gone. And now you've got a coach that didn't show anybody in the Big 12 that he can do anything on the field.
Or off of it.
Or off the field.
So, a shameless plug, I had Mike Luke of PHNX Wildcats on Southwest Bias. Yes, we do love Mike Luke. And
I was talking about Dallas. That was me to Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like Mike Luke. And the last topic was, should they fire Brent Brennan? And Mike said, money aside, absolutely. Absolutely, they should fire Brent Brennan. He's like, but even with the financial implications of firing him, it is getting so bad that you might get donors to go in and to back with money firing this guy. And let me read just some of the comments on the Southwest bias.
Oh, goodness.
Fire Arizona football coach. He needs to be fired. He sucks and things are getting worse. Brennan sucks. Why would he not engage the community? Serious question. Even our friend Rhonda said, Dr. Sun Devil here. I wanted this team to have a great season with so much talent. This is so annoying. We need a thoroughly well-vetted coaching search. Money or not, how do you keep him? We look so bad. No one is coming here. Feel for the team. If they don't fire Brennan ASAP, Arizona will be set back 7 to 10 years in their new league and maybe indefinitely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not looking pretty.
No, and you're right. They're going to get in their own way, for the future, because what rules college football right now, which rules college athletics, it's money, it's investment, it's support. If you don't have fans showing up, if you don't have boosters excited, you're not going to have money to go, hey, we'll get our next Totri McMillan. No, you won't. No, you won't.
You can't. They're not just made in factories. You can't go get Totri McMillans like that. Let's move on to another team that you could argue I think has been worse than the Arizona Wildcats, and that's Utah. Utah has been maybe not worse, but a bigger disappointment, I would say, because this is a team that you and I both thought would win this conference. Most people thought that Utah would win this conference. Cam Rising, the expectation coming into the season is that he would play the entirety of the season. You wanted to see him healthy for the start of the year. He looked solid. Obviously, Micah Bernard at tailback, he looked like he was going to be a real deal. Jacob Cowing at wide receiver. Like, this team was solid. And then all of a sudden, the wheels started to fall off when Cam Rising went down, and they haven't been able to recover since.
Yeah, 4 straight wins to start the season, 49-0 over Southern Utah, 23-12 over Baylor, 38-21 Utah State, 22-19 against then number 14 Oklahoma State. Then you lose to Arizona, tough. Lose to Arizona State, sick. Lose to TCU 13-7.
And then
lose to Houston.
Yeah.
Houston 17-14. And you want to know what the next 4 weeks look like for the Utah Utes? Against number 9 BYU at home, like Utah's at home. On the road against number 23 Colorado, who we'll talk about next. At home against number 11 Iowa State. So 3 straight top 25 games, 2 of those in the top 11. And then you end the season with UCF. But they have to win against either BYU, Colorado, or Iowa State to even be eligible to try and make a bowl game in their final game against UCF. They are 4-4 with 4 games left in the season, 3 of them against ranked teams. 2 of those in the top 11.
Be such a Big 12 thing if they beat BYU. No, but if they beat BYU, I could see that.
Yeah. That's like a Pac-12 thing, dude.
It's a state of Utah against each other.
Pac-12, Big 12.
Yeah, it's the Spider-Man meme.
Same picture, yeah.
That's fair. So, yeah, I would say Utah has been more disappointing, and what's maybe even more lackluster is the fact that this might be how Kyle Whittingham goes out. His college career, college coaching career has been marvelous up until this point. Obviously, first year in the Big 12. And that's tough, but it's why you see legends go out sooner rather than later, maybe. Sometimes being out on top versus just getting old.
Maybe they should have replaced him after they announced his replacement the first time.
Yeah, maybe. That might have been ready. Clint in the chat, Utes ready to fire everyone.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because Utah has never really been in this position under Kyle Whittingham, so it's crazy.
No, if I had to put money on who would be the most likely to just be the Steady Eddie top of the Big 12.
Steady Eddie?
Yeah, it'd be Utah.
Never heard that before.
You've never heard Steady Eddie?
Mm-mm.
Sure, I made it up. It's all mine.
There you go.
Right from the dome.
Saw in the chat, Utah is definitely beating BYU. That's definitely the thing.
And Coach Stark Holmes, salute. Hope you had fun in Miami with PHNX
It looked
Cardinals.
like a blast, by the way. Short bus in your man. We got everybody just showing up all at once.
Yeah,
I love
here's
it.
The thing. 5 likes.
Yeah, I mean, hit the like button, dude.
What is going on with that?
I don't know.
It kind of is hurting my feelings.
Do you want to speak to the viewers personally?
Guys, gals.
Let them know what's going on in your life.
In here right now. I could really use a like.
Yeah.
Please.
Just needs one.
Okay, I can't do that.
You can't do that?
I can't do that anymore.
Why?
I don't know. I felt way too desperate.
That's fair. There's this guy. He shows up once.
Everybody shows up.
Once every 7 months.
PC
Gaming shows up. Says thanks for the wide receiver, Totri. You're welcome. He's talking about Adrian Wilson. committing to Colorado. Speezy Gaming is a Colorado fan.
That's the kind of guy that's committed to like 15.
Hey, man, I appreciate you hopping in today.
Yeah,
I appreciate you hopping in. Perfect timing, too.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the final season of Deion Sanders at Colorado. He is destined to be the next Florida State coach after this season. Colorado, I'll tip my cap to him, man. They've had a pretty impressive season up to this point. A really, really nice victory over Cincinnati. They're now in the AP top 25, I believe, number 23 in the country. And at this point, I don't believe they have the toughest remaining schedule. I think they have, Tech?
Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. What's the toughest game there? Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. Toughest game's Tech.
In theory, I would say, in all honesty, I think the game they'll lose is going to be to Kansas.
At Kansas.
At
Texas Tech, I think, is their most likely loss.
Maybe. Tech just gave up a ton of points to TCU and lost.
In Lubbock?
I don't know where that game was. I think TCU was home.
Because that's the thing, is playing in Lubbock, as we know, is a little bit different. Yeah, they're at TCU.
Yeah.
So I got to give them credit, man. You have to give them credit. They've exceeded my expectations. I think people that were very in on the Buffs are talking their talk right now.
Yeah.
As they totally
What I will
should.
say is that schedule is a cakewalk.
Yeah, but
that's the one thing I'll say.
They took care of business where they needed to. Their 2 losses on the season to Nebraska and then against Kansas State. Kansas State being ranked 18th in the country when they lost. And it was only a 3-point loss as well. Only one of those being on the road, that's at Nebraska, where they got their butt kicked. Other than that, they beat North Dakota State, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Arizona, Cincinnati. The best win that they have so far on the season is Cincinnati, right? Which, hey, they beat a team that ASU lost to, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, home and road, that's flipped. That could play a factor in it, but you have to give them credit. 6-2 on the season, 4-1 in the conference. They're a top 4 team in the conference according to record. Good for them.
Yeah.
Now, does it last? No. Sometimes the microwave meal's good.
Sometimes they're
last?
fire.
But doesn't it's true. But does it last?
No, because you got to go buy another one.
No.
That's how it always works. But we'll see. Speezy in the chat. We won't lose to Tech. Shedeur Sanders has never lost in Texas in his career.
How many times has he played in Texas in his career?
I don't know. But there's a first for everything, is there not?
I guess.
So how would you rank them? Before we move on, how would you rank the 4 former Pac-12 schools in their first season in the Big 12 in terms of being able to adjust 1 through 4?
Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say. You have to put Colorado first.
You have to put Colorado first.
I think if ASU, like I said, if ASU played this past weekend, they weren't on a bye and they beat Oklahoma State, more of a conversation.
You could argue it.
I think you could argue it, especially because ASU's had a tougher schedule. However, Colorado did beat a team that ASU lost to. They have another chance to do that this week.
Yeah.
So, or next week. They're on a bye this week. I could put them first, ASU second, Arizona third, Utah fourth. And Arizona is so lucky that Utah is so bad.
Sentences
so
we never
lucky.
thought we would actually say.
And of course, Saul says, I rep K-State, by the way, from here on out. Must be
Hashtag
nice.
alum.
Yeah, it must be nice.
It is what
Hey, I heard
it
it's
is.
basketball season.
It is basketball season, but not for us. We're not talking about basketball till next week.
And neither is Kenny Dillingham.
No, Kenny is not talking basketball at all. He is definitely talking all things Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. We are going to hear from that Arizona State coach, but we're going to do it on the other side of this quick break.
I know you're still thinking about, was it the Bronco?
Yeah.
Bronco Sport that our good friends at Sanderson Ford had you drive around for a weekend. You had aura when you were driving that car.
Dude, I did have aura.
You did. I was like, oh man, Totri's pulling up.
Yeah,
Man.
I know. I'm gonna be honest. It's tough for me in my personal life to say I love you, but to that car, I love you. I love
Well,
you.
before we get too deep into that, maybe we'll talk after the show. I got to remind everybody that Sanderson Ford, we are proud to partner with them. They have the largest Ford dealership in the nation. They are also America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer satisfaction. And as you being the customer, that should be what you're most focused on. They thrive on a no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense sales approach. And they're family owned and operated through 3 generations. Head to Sanderson Ford, check out new F-150 trucks, 3.9 financing for 60 months, plus up to $4,000 cash back, and pick up a free pair of tickets to see Weezer, Sublime, and more at November nights while supplies of 100 tickets last. No purchase or test drive required. Disclaimer, offer on 2024 F-150 STX OAC from Ford Credit. 1 pair of tickets per household and requires valid driver's license.
Do you realize that we are just days away from the most elite month in terms of sporting events?
I am aware.
We still have baseball. World Series. We get NFL football, NBA basketball, college football, college basketball, and hockey is still going on. We have so many major sports. And my goodness, if you guys want to get to those games, use our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time.
Thank you, Captain Redbeard. I appreciate it. Will in the chat, is Sam Leavitt back this week? Will, I better see you at 4 o'clock. He's one of my students. So
he's one of your students?
He is one of my students.
I did not know that.
Well, now you do. Now you do. I expect to see you in class today, Will. That's
hey,
all I'm
Will,
saying.
do you call him Professor Totri?
No, I don't like them doing that. But there are some that still do it. Absolutely. Bees in the chat, the Saul switch up is crazy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Will in the chat. Answering the other Will's question, Sam is likely to be back. Yes. Well, we've got sound from Kenny Dillingham on that question specifically on is Sam Leavitt returning and what about the rest of the guys dealing with injuries? This was Kenny's answer earlier today.
Yeah, we should have everybody back. Sam should be back, but it's still, I'd say 60-40, 70-30, that he'll play this week. But it's one of those, like, we got to see him practice and stuff like that. But he's cleared to play. He wants to play. He's excited about playing. He's been putting in a lot of work to play. So we'll see how that transpires.
Yeah, so Kenny did say that Sam Leavitt has been cleared. He also said that he's been cleared for about 3 weeks now. So he could have played against Cincinnati. And if it were up to Sam, he would have played. But he said that this was a team thing. This was a coaching staff decision to kind of keep Sam away from himself in a way to make sure that he was 110% before he actually went back out there. So I know Arizona State fans might be a tad salty hearing that.
Well, I don't know. When you watch Sam play, it does make sense because the dude does not care.
No.
He doesn't give an F. He will run and he will throw his body on the line. It's part of the reason why he's hurt in the first place. So always look out for your guy, right? And you always want your starting quarterback to be a little psychotic.
Yeah.
You always want him to be like,
slightly.
I'll play through this like a broken rib. Oh, I broke my arm. It's fine. I played flag football. Our quarterback broke his hand at Sun Devil on Sun Devil Field and continued to play.
You want your quarterback to have a little Jameson.
You want them to be psycho.
Yeah, just a tad.
And Sam's got that. Sam's got that for sure. But you need to protect the football psycho from themselves. And I think they did that at the cost of maybe a win, but you might have lost that game and lost Sam for a longer amount of time. So that's the right move.
I think Sam's going to play this week. That is just my own personal opinion based off of what we've heard from Kenny, what I've heard from other folks. But it sounds like Sam is trending in the right direction, which for Arizona State would be massive. Getting your starting quarterback who has showed his development through the first 8-9 weeks of the season, and see if he can elevate this team to getting their first Big 12 road win. It would be absolutely huge. This team would be bowl eligible for the first time in a couple seasons. And it would go a long way. It would go a long way toward down the stretch of Arizona State still trying to do everything in their part to be in a Big 12 title game, which obviously at this point is a little bit of a reach based off of who they still have left.
It's technically still possible.
It is, but it starts with Sam Leavitt and Cam Skattebo getting it done against Oklahoma State.
And I wonder if maybe giving Sam some time to watch a game against Cincinnati and then the bye week, you have lots of time to watch your film. And for somebody who is as raw as Sam Leavitt is, with a lot to work on, a lot to fix, and a lot to get better at, especially when it comes to being like a pure quarterback, especially through the passing game, I wonder if that's going to pay dividends for him. Because we have seen him continue to get better as the season goes on. He's hit some road bumps, but every time he's kind of bounced back.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how he responds to, sitting out, watching the team lose, having a bye week. Then you go on the road trying to do something you haven't done yet. This has been a great season, 5-2. Haven't won a road game and we haven't won a road game in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You beat Texas State, but as much as that was our Super Bowl, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're later in the season.
Yeah, you're so much later in the year.
You need a Big 12 win.
Yeah, you're so much later.
You need it, and it's either coming this Saturday
or against Kansas State.
Arizona.
Well, yeah, I think they're going to beat Arizona.
Okay, can I say something?
You can say something.
While I don't disagree with you, can we pump the brakes on it's going to be impossible for Arizona to win that game thing?
No.
No,
I'm going to sit here and say it October 28th. If Sam Leavitt and Cam Skattebo are playing in that game, Arizona State is going to absolutely dog walk the Wildcats. They're going to put the kiddies on a leash and they're going to take them for a walk. Okay. That's what's going to happen.
I don't.
Tell me you're scared.
I don't disagree.
Tell me you're
with
afraid.
It's a rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rivalry game on the road.
Yeah.
And usually what you expect to happen in those types of games doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if Arizona loses out and somehow wins a territorial cup, I'm going to be an inconsolable wreck. So can we stop with the
No, I'm not stopping.
Chance?
I'm not stopping because normally
Says Totri, remember when you jinxed us last time?
No. If
they lose, it's your fault.
That's not how that works.
Mark this down.
Everything goes out the window in rivalry games when there are two competent coaches on the other side.
What if he's fired by then?
Then he's fired. Then I don't really care.
But even you said, I hate that I have to take this side. But
you're choosing to take it. You're choosing to take that side.
I'm being the voice of reason. You even said that with Fafita and with
Look at Speezy Gaming and I are on the same side. He says, "Nah, y'all dog walking Arizona. They suck."
Okay, yeah, like
he's not wrong.
Weird. It's so weird because I agree with you, but I
agree with me.
I have the PTSD in the back of my head of can we just not put ourselves in our own graves? Can we just enjoy it and get there and dominate?
Can I ask you why you're afraid to be a man?
Whoa.
Say it with your chest, Erik. This team is better than the Wildcats.
Yes, they
Cam
are.
Skattebo could beat the Wildcats by himself.
Yeah,
Kenny Dillingham has been a Sun Devil since he was a wee lad, and he lost the cup last season.
Okay.
You think that this team, a team that has already defied expectations, hasn't marked this on their calendar since they knew that Arizona was going to the Big 12 with them?
All the things that you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with. You're saying
like you're disagreeing with me.
First of all, you almost have me saying some things that I'm not allowed to say anymore with that be a man thing.
Come on, say it with your chest, Erik.
Two. All the things that you said are correct.
Mm-hmm.
But weird stuff happens. Can we not just say it's 100%? Can we give it like a 0.01%? I'm not jinxing this.
It's 100.01%.
I'm not jinxing this, man. I'm not jinxing this.
Gosh, you're such a baby sometimes.
We're winning that game, but I'm not jinxing it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what. Whatever.
Yes, Chad, they're considering firing.
Are they really considered firing their coach? First year at a school that had not been consistently good at football ever. Yeah, but they won 10 games last year, won a bowl game against a premier program in Oklahoma. They returned their quarterback. They returned a first-round defensive back, a first-round wide receiver. They had everything to at least win 6 games, and they might not even do that.
You know what it is? It's like you win the lottery, but you're not used to having money. And so you spend all your money being super cocky and saying nothing can go wrong.
They spent it in one season.
And they just spend all we're fine. Who cares? I'll spend it on this. I'll spend it on that. No, I don't care.
That's tough.
And then it's like a year later and you're like, oh no.
I didn't budget well.
That's not good.
We didn't plan for this at all. That's tough. That is absolutely tough. Somehow we got way off the rails. Off the rails. We're going to reel it back in, get back to talking about Arizona State going up against Oklahoma State. Earlier in the chat, Dallas was mentioning some of his thoughts on Marcus Arroyo as a play caller. Something that I think we've seen throughout the season at certain times, and you saw it against Cincinnati really early on in the game, is decision-making. Yeah. Is you saw a team in Kenny Dillingham trying to be really aggressive at certain moments when we thought maybe they shouldn't be, and then vice versa in moments that they were maybe not as aggressive, we thought they should have been aggressive. So Kenny Dillingham was asked at his presser today, just in terms of what kind of impact the team itself and the matchup have on some of that aggressive decision making.
You got to manage. You just got to manage your team. You got to get to know the team, right? And for us right now, we're having big waves of negative on the road. Like it's like, oh, we're playing good football. Oh crap, we just lost 17 straight points or 24 straight points. What just happened? Oh, we played good football again. It was like 12 minutes or 15 minutes from hell, right? Gets us down all these points, and then we play another 3 quarters of good football on the road. So it's like, how can we manage the emotions of the game? And, you got to get to know your team. Maybe the statistics and common sense, or not common sense to like the general fan, because teams are going for it now more than ever, but common sense from a statistical standpoint may say, oh, this is a 4th and 1 on the 48. Yeah, you go for it every time. Like, this isn't even a question. 4th and 2 on the -45. Yeah, this is an absolute go for everything that's even close to analytics. It's a go. But our team is struggling handling emotional swings on the road. So for our team, maybe that's punt on the road. Who knows? I mean, those are the things that when you get to know your team and get to know, okay, if we can just manage this downward spiral on the road, limit it, and get out of it, we play really good football. So how do I limit that and not get caught up in the analytics or what, over time should be successful, what is successful for our team, even from a mental standpoint?
Well, you even heard him after the Cincinnati game say, we might have to go back to the drawing board as far as being super aggressive. I think he saw it up close and personal, how it did cost his team. And I'm sure going back and watching the film, he even took accountability, saying like, hey, that was all me. That was my fault. I got out coached. I think you're still going to see a very aggressive Kenny Dillingham, but picking and choosing your spots is very important.
Yeah.
And I hope that is a lesson that now he's going to learn and apply, and we'll see in Oklahoma State. 'Cause sometimes you got to get a little risky. You got to roll the dice to win the game, but sometimes you got to know when to walk away from the table.
Yeah, and when you're going for it on your own side of the 50 in the first quarter on a 4th and 3.
Not good.
It's just maybe not what we would do, right? Like Kenny knows best, I guess, in some of these situations. I mean, in reality, in all of the situations, I'm taking Kenny's ideas over ours, to be honest with you, when it comes to football. But from just watching the game, felt like it was a little too aggressive at that specific moment. And I think there have been times where the aggression has paid off for Arizona State. And then there have been times where it obviously hasn't. And if it works every single time, then you're a genius. And if it doesn't, then you look like an idiot, right? And I think acknowledging the fact that your team plays different on the road, right? And you saw it against Texas State even.
Yeah.
Where it all of a sudden it snowballed, but Arizona State was able to stop. It didn't work that way against Texas Tech, and it didn't work that way against Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you're going up against a team in Oklahoma State that hasn't won a Big 12 game yet, but that doesn't mean that this isn't a team that you shouldn't take seriously. Alan Bowman has played a lot of college football, right? Brendan Presley is one of the more intriguing wide receivers in the Big 12. And then Ollie Gordon, he may not have had the Heisman season that people expected him to have, but he is still a really, really good running back. And if Arizona State decides to choose their moments incorrectly in terms of aggression and isn't able to capitalize, just because this is a team in Oklahoma State that's not a playoff team doesn't mean they won't capitalize.
No, Ollie Gordon is such an interesting case because it feels like every single week it could just be the Ollie Gordon week. It really could. If I told you at this point he'd have 15 less touches than Cam Skattebo and 300 less yards.
He has 300 less yards.
He has 135 carries for 568 yards. Scat has 150 carries for 848 yards.
Well, I think Ollie's also been hurt a game or two.
Yeah, but
still, no, you're right.
He's only 15 carries behind
Scat.
Right.
You're right.
You never know when a talent like that's just going to break out because the talent is the talent. I can't lie and say that I've been watching a ton of Oklahoma State film this entire season. I need to get more into that this week. But he could pop off for 200 against you. Like he is that type of athlete. He's that type of guy.
He's a closer.
And you never know what's going to happen. You need to game plan for him to be that Heisman level running back that you expected him to be going into the season. Force Alan Bowman to run. Well, he's played a lot of college football. He's thrown a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
He's thrown a lot. You need to find a way to balance your attack and to not overthink things. And that's the one thing I want ASU to avoid this week is coming off of a loss. I think they did against Kansas, coming off of a loss into a bye week, but now you're on the road.
Doing it at home, though. Yeah, there you go.
Now you're on the road. Don't overthink. Play your brand of football. Take Oklahoma State out of their game and contain the best the best talent, which is an Ollie Gordon and it's a Brendan Presley. That's the two most talented players on that team right now that you need to focus on. Stat lines put aside. So do that. Don't be as aggressive. You can take care of business.
I got a question for you.
I hopefully have an answer.
Do you think that this Oklahoma State team this year, a team that had some expectations,
They were ranked. They were top 20 in the nation.
does it remind you at all of last year's Arizona State team or no?
Remind me of Latin?
Just the way the season has gone.
No, because they had expectations.
Okay. Kenny was asked at his
like,
presser
what
today.
I was like, what are you talking about?
He was asked at his presser today if he feels like there's anything that you can take away in juxtaposition from Arizona State's season last year versus the Oklahoma State this year. You said no. I don't think there's anything that you can compare, but this is what Katie had to say about it.
Yeah, I don't think you can compare our team last year to Oklahoma State's program in any way, shape, or form. This is a team that's won 7 games for almost, I think, 20 years in a row. And it's their homecoming. So they still have the ability to achieve that and to keep that streak going. And we're going to get their very, very best. And Coach Gundy's been doing this a long time at one of the highest levels amongst anybody in college football. And, that's the scary part, is they have it there. They have the ability, and it's the second away week in a row where a team's homecoming, right? Which means we're going to get the best crowd that they have all year, and the most motivated those players will really be is when you play at homecoming.
You can't compare the Arizona State team last year to a team in Oklahoma State this year that, like you said, was ranked, had expectations, had a Heisman candidate, had a quarterback, had a really talented wide receiver, and ultimately they've just kind of pooed the bed.
A lot of disappointing teams in the Big 12 this year.
Literally, the 4 teams that have disappointed most were supposed to be the 4 best teams in this conference.
Arizona, Utah, Kansas,
and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. UCF was supposed to be good.
They started hot.
So the only teams that were supposed to be good that are in the top of the Big 12 are Iowa State and Kansas State.
Yes.
BYU was not picked high.
No, they were, I think, maybe lower middle of the pack.
Oh, where did we put them? I feel like
you'd have to go back to our.
I feel like we were low
on BYU.
Yeah,
we should go back, find our earliest power rankings. That would be really early. That'd be months and months ago if you could find our preseason power rankings of what we thought this conference was going to be. I was out on Arizona as being, I think, one of the 4 best teams. I could be wrong, but I didn't think that they would be this bad. I didn't think Kansas would be this bad. I didn't think Oak State would be this bad. I wasn't sold on Kansas State. They have totally spit on me for that because they've looked amazing. Iowa State, I think, might be the only team that I thought was going to be good that has actually turned out to be good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Will in the chat says BYU was somewhere in the 12 to 14 range.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find ours, but let's see. Big 12 football preseason. Let's go media poll.
Preseason media poll.
Yeah.
What you
so
got?
Utah picked first, of course. Let's scroll down here. BYU was 13. So 16 was ASU, 15 was Houston, 14 was Cincinnati, 13 was BYU, 12 was Baylor, 11 was Colorado, 10 TCU, 9 Texas Tech, 8 UCF, 7 West Virginia, 6 Iowa State, 5 Arizona, 4 Kansas, and now, by the way, every team that I name has gotten first place votes, including Arizona and Kansas. Oklahoma State, who had 14 first place votes, Kansas State, Utah.
That's, the conference has been flipped upside down.
So yeah, Utah to the bottom, Oklahoma State to the bottom, Kansas to the bottom, Arizona to the bottom, Iowa State jumps up. BYU, yeah.
Crazy. I want to see if I can find our actual rankings, but they're going to be so hard to find.
It's going to be really difficult
to find. To dig deep for those ones, man. Now, look, I will say we weren't, I don't think anybody was totally accurate on what this conference was going to be. If somebody nailed the Big 12
before this year,
then you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You saw the future, buddy, because they have not been, this conference has not been what people thought it was going to be.
No,
to any
not
point.
at all.
And the teams that are on top of the conference they weren't expected to be as good as they are now. And the teams that were bums, that you expected them to be at the top of this conference. So it's just been weird to see. It's been absolutely weird to see.
I found them.
You found the very first
I
ones?
think so.
Oh, boy.
Totri, you had BYU at 13.
Yeah.
And Erik had BYU at 14.
Woo!
What about Just okay. Go. Let's read Erik's.
Oh,
one,
you put me on blast.
1 to
first?
16. What were they?
Utah,
Yep.
Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Kansas, Arizona, UCF, Iowa State, Arizona State, West Virginia, TCU, Colorado, Baylor, Texas Tech, BYU, Cincinnati, Houston.
Ooh, the Cincinnati one. I think I was with you on Cincinnati being bad.
Don't say anything until
I
you
was
read
just
yours.
saying. I was saying that I'm with you on that. Gosh. Okay. Let's hear
Totri's.
mine.
All right. Utah, Kansas, Kansas State, Arizona, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, UCF, Arizona State, West Virginia, Colorado, Baylor, Texas Tech, BYU, TCU, Cincinnati, Houston.
I think I was better than you though.
Yeah, slightly.
Slightly, like maybe just a little bit.
Stink off. You stunk a little bit less. Congrats.
It
bro.
counts. It counts.
Congrats,
okay,
dude.
it wasn't the stinkiest one. That's all I'm
Sharon
saying.
says Erik is pretty high on us. Good man.
I'm pretty sure I was higher.
No.
What? Who had Arizona State higher?
You were both at 8.
Look at us go, buddy.
Yeah, we totally didn't get like everything else wrong.
And no, it's fine. It's fine. All you need is one. All you need is one winner. That is all you need, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Also, do us a solid. Go check out the newsletter. We tell you every single day. And we tell you every single day because the newsletter is a daily thing. It's free content you're getting. Go to gophnx.com/newsletter. What can people expect from the daily newsletter, Erik?
Just actual writing and well thought out sentences, not an amalgamation of links that have been rushed to throw together to hit your email inbox in the morning. If you know, you know. No, it's actual legitimate writing that keeps you up to date on everything going on in Arizona sports. Plus, yes, links to things that are going on, but not.
It's not an amalgamation.
It's not just the link.
There you
The
go.
link is like, hey, here's this well-written piece of content from Patrick Brown, and if you would like to dive deeper into this subject that I so well informed you about in this quick amount of time, here is a link for you to click on and take that a little bit further. Big difference.
Giant
Big difference. Also, become a diehard. We're still running our diehard promotion.
Yes.
$48. It is at a discount. We are aiming to add a bunch more diehards until this is over. I don't think there's too much more time. Make sure you become a diehard today. Join the ASU diehard Discord community. We are always popping. We're talking all Big 12, right? And not just football, but basketball as well.
We
talk
have an
hockey.
Iowa State fan
Yeah, we do
in
have
the
an Iowa State
Discord.
fan in there. I'm surprised we don't have some more Colorado fans as well. Come join us in diehard Discord. Plus, you could chat Suns with me. I'm on Suns. You can come talk hoops all the time. I'm there as well. And of course, we have Cardinals. We have Rising. We have Diamondbacks. We have U of A.
$4 a month, dude.
Yeah,
That's like literally, it's less than a cup of coffee.
Hey, can I borrow $4?
I'll give you $4.
See how easy it is.
I won't
to
even.
get
You don't even
$4
got to
a
pay me
month?
back. I'll just give you $4.
Yeah, you see how easy it is to get $4 a month. Just hit up Anthony Totri.
That's
Ask
not. Well, we're not
Anthony
going to do that.
_Totri
We're
on
not going
social
to be doing
media
that.
And slide into his DMs and ask him for money.
I'm okay. I'm okay on
Let
that.
me know how that goes.
Yeah. I said I was going to give you money. That's
Well,
it.
You better give me money then, or I'm going to send all the people in your DMs asking for their money that you promised me.
Short bus with a good question. Does that apply for renewable?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, man.
We'll ask.
Short bus, just message us in Discord,
Yeah.
and we can definitely we'll figure that out for you. We'll have an answer for you. Sharon in the chat,
Oh,
go
Saul
join.
has the answer. Saul
Ooh.
says no. It's for new diehards only. Sorry, Short Bus.
Saul just crushing dreams.
Yeah, yeah.
BC, I'll take $4.
BC, you better get. Is BC?
I don't know. I don't know if BC's
I don't
in.
think. No.
If you join the Discord, say who you are so that we can connect the dots
I'll
here.
say this: if BC is a diehard and he or she is not in the ASU Discord, I'll be wildly disappointed.
I don't think BC is.
I
I don't
think
think
so
BC is.
Hey, BC,
Join the Discord, man.
join the Discord. You're in here all the time.
You get to catch all of Donald's rants that go on in there.
Donald not really in the live chat anymore, so if you're missing your
I
daily
know.
dose of Donald,
Your daily dose of Donald.
you get it in the Discord. Speaking of paying for things, do you do you want to pay some bills and then come back and finish this up?
I'm down to pay some bills and then we can finish this show up.
All right, we'll talk some more ASU football on the other side of this break.
You know why it's so easy for me to pay my bills?
Why?
Because Circle K helps me save
Oh,
money.
I thought I was gonna say because you make so much money.
No, that's not true. Circle K helps me save the money that I do make so that I can pay my bills on time. Of course, we are talking about Inner Circle. It's Circle K's free membership program. It's super easy to download. All you got to do is enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. That is after you download the app. And after that, all you need is your phone number to get deals. Literally, you pull up to the pump, you type in your phone number, and boom, you're going to start getting those deals. The deals that we're talking about, starting with saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. That starts to add up. Then you can save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
All right, I'll address the elephant in the room. I look like a loser right now.
You
Just
look
an
like a
absolute
loser? Why?
Just bottom of the barrel. But wait.
Oh, there we go.
Now that I'm wearing my Shady Rays, I no longer look like a loser.
Less of a loser.
Less of a loser because I'm wearing my Shady Rays. And you as well cannot look like a loser with me. Because Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 non-losers. Durable frames, crystal clear optics. They are the perfect choice for outdoor or indoor adventures if you're soft like me and need to wear them while you podcast. They have styles in all your team's favorite colors as well. Plus, we just got a brand new batch of Shady Rays. Different types of frames.
We
big
did.
Ones, small ones. I like the Oakmonts. That's what I'm rocking right now. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They got a lost or broken replacement, plus an exchange guarantee within the first 30 days. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com. Use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 non-losers.
Is that your new thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought what would be a fun way to transition to this. And I said, calling myself a loser.
If you're new here and you don't know what the blind mouse is, I feel like this is a good time to remind people that Erik Ruby looks like the blind mouse from Shrek. Kyle, were you here for that? Were you here for the blind mouse discussion?
I wasn't.
Do you agree though? Like
Yeah.
pull up the you know what it looks like?
Yeah. Kyle's go, yeah.
If you have seen Shrek, you've seen the three blind mice. And I think that's what you should have been for. I guess you could still be that for Halloween if you wanted to.
No,
Please.
No.
Please.
No, I'm doing a Sun show on Halloween, and those who have already seen my
Spooky.
Halloween costume, they know what I'm going to be.
Can you tell me? Can you whisper it to
No,
me?
because you weren't at the Halloween party.
I had things I had to do.
They weren't important.
They were really important.
Not important at all.
They were so important.
least important thing I've ever heard.
Okay. Calm down, man. Look, the blind mouse and I are going to continue talking about
Where'd you go?
Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. Oh, now you can't see me? Really? Come on now. Yeah, watching Arizona State basketball last night made you lose your eyesight. Is that what happened?
Yeah, sorry, guys. Went blind during Duke's blowout.
Look, we
I
are.
hate you, Yeah, don't even
Do
transition away from it.
Do
Wait
it.
until he gets the picture.
Oh,
Wait
goodness.
until he gets the picture. Oh, no. He can't pull it up.
He can get there. We're going to get there here in a second. Let's see.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know exactly what's going on right now, and
He's trying.
I'm a little worried.
What are you worried
Just drag
for?
it on the main cam, Kyle. Just drag it on the main camera. Just put it right in front of me. Yeah. Put that up there.
Oh, boy.
There we go.
This is awesome.
Nobody knows what's going on because I've seen it right now.
This is my
There we go.
co-host. This is my co-host. You're actually all three of the blind
I'm
mice.
all three
Can you
blind mice.
Can you sit like that?
I don't know if I should. Okay, wait.
Don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt
Okay,
yourself.
put it back up. Okay.
Wow. I mean,
Go
this
back.
is just incredible content. This is absolutely incredible content. I love it. Somehow we're going to talk about Arizona State football still and Oklahoma State. Look, we are, of course, going to break down the Cowboys in this matchup against the Sun Devils all week long. But as we do every Monday, just kind of getting a feeler for Oklahoma State. This is a team coached by Mike Gundy. Of course, Kenny Dillingham said it. A lot of respect for this program. Arizona State has now played Oklahoma State. This will be year 3. The Sun Devils lost last year at home, and they lost the year before on the road in Stillwater. Stillwater, one of the tougher places to play in the Big 12. As it stands right now, the Cowboys are at the bottom of the Big 12. They don't have the worst record in this conference, but they have yet to win a conference game, which is why they are where they are. But again, this is a team, if you look at Oklahoma State's schedule thus far, they haven't had the easiest schedule in the world when it's come to the Big 12, right? They started with Utah, which at the time Utah was number 12. Cam Rising was playing in that game, I believe. So they lose that one.
I think that was the game where he went out.
You're right. So they go down 20. They lose that game 22-19. Then the next game, they're on the road taking on Kansas State. They get throttled 42-20. The following week, they play a rising West Virginia team. West Virginia beats them 38-14. Then on a short week, or not on a short week, they had a bye week to get healthy. Then on a Friday night, they're taking on BYU. They gave BYU everything they had.
On the road,
38-35. 10 seconds left in the game. BYU finds a way to put the game away. And then the following week or last week, they were on the road against a Baylor team that's starting to been trending in the right direction. And they lose 38-28. Now, of course, they've got the Sun Devils on a bye week. And this is a team that, again, in Arizona State, they're going to need to find ways to score the same ways that these other opponents have. 42 points for Kansas State against Oklahoma State, 38 points for West Virginia, 38 points for BYU, 38 points for Baylor.
So let's say ASU needs to score 38 points. Let's keep that trend going. ASU can't be the get right game for Oklahoma State. You just can't.
Yeah.
Right? And this screams get right game.
It does.
At home, homecoming.
I don't like that it screams that.
5 straight losses. Like, that's the thing. The Baylor game was the most get back, get right game of all time. And they lost. And this is a good coach. It's a good running back. They have a lot of good weapons and pieces. Their offensive line is old. That's about the nicest thing that I can say about their offensive line is that they're old and they've played together. But ASU, I think they need to have a thorough domination this game. I think they need to exercise the demon of Big 12 road games. They need to exercise the demon of Oklahoma State.
It's an ugly demon.
Which, by the way, that Oklahoma State game is when they played 3 different quarterbacks, including Mike Gundy's son, and ASU still lost.
Well, ASU, I think at that time they had their own quarterback issues.
Oh no, ASU had a lot of issues at the time.
Was that the game that who played quarterback that game? Was that Bourget or Pine? I think that was Pine. I think Drew Pine played that game, and then he might have gotten hurt or he got pulled for Bourget, and then Bourget got hurt. They played multiple quarterbacks in that game.
I know they did, but like Oklahoma State's whole game plan going in was, yes, we are going to rotate. No, Jaden Rashada was the only quarterback.
He was the only. That was the game that he got hurt.
So Jaden Rashada was 16 of 29, 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Alan Bowman, 11 of 16, 113 yards. Garrett Rangel, 6 of 9, nice, 46 yards. And Gunnar Gundy, what a name, 5 of 7 for 32 yards. Ollie Gordon. Guess how many yards? This is an ugly game. Guess how many yards Ollie Gordon
86.
had that game? Less.
74.
Less.
Ooh, 69.
Less.
55?
Less.
Did he play?
53.
Wow. On how many carries?
9 carries. So 5.9.
How did they score? How did Oklahoma State win this game?
Surprisingly enough, the 2 quarterbacks that played the least, Rangel and Gundy, each threw a touchdown. One to Deshaun Stribling, and another one to Brennan Presley.
Brennan Presley's a dog, dude.
Yeah, Cam Skattebo, 14 for 62 in that game.
Not ideal.
No. Elijah Badger, 3 for 80.
3 for 80. I know
Long
somebody
of
in the
65.
chat earlier was talking about Elijah Badger. Could we see him pulling Austin Nunez and come back? I don't think so. But
no,
that's just.
I would say the way that Kenny has talked about people who he wants to be here. If there's an inkling that you don't want to be here,
then leave.
You're not going to be here.
And leave at that point.
Which is why it's like kind of to round it back to a random thing that we mentioned about the Adrian Wilson thing, him coming in Colorado. I wonder if in like 2 years he sees the real for what it is.
Maybe. We'll see if it even takes that long.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it happens pretty quickly.
He has not been, let's say, faithful in his commitments so far. Nothing gets him. Do the best for you. You're 18 years old. I don't care.
Camera's over there.
That's literally what I was.
Sorry, just wanted to see how long we could get it
I'm
going.
just staring at this 27-15 loss
It's
for
last
Arizona
year.
State last
year, man.
Second game of the season, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Coming off
and
of
again,
the worst game of all time.
Oklahoma State returns all three of the guys that we were talking about offensively last season. Alan Bowman at quarterback, Ollie Gordon, and Brennan Presley. Brennan Presley is an absolute speed demon at wide receiver. Love to plug him into the slot, put him on nickel corners. It's an impossible matchup for a linebacker, and it's going to be a nightmare for Arizona State defensively to just game plan for a guy like Brennan Presley. I don't care who's in coverage. Brennan Presley is a phenomenal, twitchy wide receiver.
Best wide receiver they've played this season?
Start throwing out some team names that Arizona State has played.
They played Wyoming, Mississippi State, and Texas State in the first 3 weeks.
No, Presley's better than all of them.
Texas Tech has a lot of receiving
They
weapons.
do, but I take Presley.
Kansas is more.
Kansas has some weapons.
What was it? Grimm?
Yeah, Luke Grimm. I'm still probably taking Brennan Presley. Brennan Presley is one of my favorite wide receivers in this conference.
Okay. Utah, big Dorian Singer guy.
Oh, yeah. I said Jacob Cowing earlier. Yeah, Dorian Singer.
It's just PTSD.
Yeah, I know.
And Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm taking...
I think Brennan Presley is the best wide receiver.
Yeah, he might be the best wide receiver that they see until they get to Tedero McMillan.
I mean, duh. But that's going to be a big test. That's a big test. Luckily, they don't have a good quarterback to give him the ball.
Alan Bowman hasn't played horrible this year.
He has 10 interceptions.
Yeah, but look how many passing yards he's got. He's got over 2K.
But he's prone to make mistakes, take advantage of those mistakes. Yeah, he does. He's thrown the ball 275 times, completed it 166 times for over 2K yards, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Not horrible.
Not horrible. 10 interceptions is pretty horrible.
It's a lot.
10 interceptions for a quarterback whose team has lost 5 straight games is pretty horrible.
But you also have to look at where those interceptions come at. Like, how many of them come at the end of football games when they're just trying to claw their way back? You know, you just got to get on the tape, get on the grind a little bit more. Stop running away. Stop running away.
No,
well, I'm not going to just give you the answer.
No,
I'm not going to just give. I'm not giving you the answer to this. Come on,
you can't
now.
gatekeep these stats from the people.
I can.
Why don't you tell me when Alan Bowman threw his interceptions this year?
I'm over here, man.
Football freak.
Look at me.
I'm looking right at you. I'm looking at the fear in your eyes.
The fear in my eyes. Come on now. So Ollie Gordon is a big running back.
Way to deflect. That was awesome.
We thought he was going to be a Heisman candidate this season.
Yeah.
He hasn't been dealing with injuries. The offensive line hasn't been nearly as good as we thought they were going to be. But Ollie Gordon, like Kenny said today, is still a threat to take it yard every single time the ball is in his hands. And he is an absolute menace to tackle. And part of that has to do with the scheme that Oklahoma State runs. They like to spread you out with guys like Brennan Presley out there that you are going to have to find a way to cover. And then your box is limited. And then Ollie Gordon is just an absolute terror to try and tackle one-on-one.
You could tell me Ollie Gordon has 200 yards from scrimmage in this game, and I wouldn't blink.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blink. And that's coming from somebody who has 300 less yards than Cam Skattebo, right? He is that type of player. He's that caliber of player, even if he hasn't shown it so far. And that's scary. Plus, ASU's given up some pretty big games to running backs so far this season. You don't want that trend to continue.
You can't afford to have that happen.
No, if Ollie Gordon gets back to the Ollie Gordon that he was supposed to be, then this game becomes about 10 times more difficult to win on the road.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Especially if they get up. If Oklahoma State takes an early lead and they can just hand the ball to Ollie Gordon and pick up
the last
7
thing that
each
you
time.
want. That's the last thing you need.
Momentum.
Defensively, Trey Rucker, Corey Black, and Obi Eziagobo.
Great name.
Obi leads the team in sacks, I believe, with 3 on the year. Corey Black leads the team in interceptions, and Trey Rucker leads the team in tackles. Rucker is a safety, Black is a corner, and Obi, I believe, is a defensive. And those are the names defensively that you need to know. If you're an Arizona State fan, I'm really interested to see where Obi lines up. Do they put him on Josh Atkins? Do we see Emmett Boley out there at tackle? Do they flip him to Mad Max's side? Trying to find a matchup to get Sam Leavitt, if he plays, or Jeff Sims, or whoever plays quarterback this week, under some serious pressure. Because, again, regardless of Leavitt playing, that's something that these guys defensively know, that he was banged up a couple weeks ago. He missed the Cincinnati game. They're going to be coming at him with everything that they've got to try and get him uncomfortable.
And I wonder how Sam's going to play. I mean, we could talk more about this when we preview offense versus defense, but if he'll be as fearless, or if he's going to have that second thought in the back of his head, that's going to be an interesting thing that we're going to talk about later this week, along with Totri telling you exactly when all 10 of Alan Bowman's interceptions have been this season and the exact momentum that has shifted when that happened, Anthony Totri will be doing that for you guys right here on PHNX Sun Devils this week.
You can close the show after that. You can close it.
I'm in trouble.
You can close
You
it.
can follow Totri at Anthony_Totri, also commonly referred to as Professor Totri to all of his students. You can follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow Kyle, the man behind the Mac, making all the magic happen, aka Captain Redbeard, at KCoop Sports. You can follow myself at ERIKRUBY. Catch me on the Suns show as well. And until tomorrow, when Anthony Totri gives you all that delicious information that you've all been begging for, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.